Stray Bullets by David Lapham reads like the comic book equivalent of a spontaneous black and white ink-stained road trip. Readers are forced to strap in and go wherever the road takes them. As always, the full essay transcript and my videos are available on my website, witsnpod.com. If it's not there, it's not me. There's a reason why Lapham's cartooning and non-linear storytelling makes Stray Bullets one of the most engaging long-running crime comics, or comics in general. Now, what is Stray Bullets? I'll let series creator David Lapham explain.
Stray Bullets is a series of interconnected short stories dealing with mostly innocent people whose lives are affected by violent events, many times emotional, psychological, but also physical, and how that sort of warps them and how they lead basically dysfunctional lives. It's a crime drama series heavy on the drama.
Stray Bullets sprang to life in 1995 by indie cartoonist David Lapham and his wife, collaborator, editor, and designer Maria. They published the book under their El Capitan umbrella. The original Bullets series had an inconsistent but still existent release schedule between 1995 to 2014 for 41 issues. Even for an indie comic, the amount of issues Stray Bullets itself has is impressive, especially since the original run was self-published through El Capitan. That said, life got in the way and the Laphams had to put Stray Bullets on hiatus, and it's happened a few times, which I'll get to. The hiatus for Bullets is funny compared to other unfinished comics and manga, where some series left off in the middle due to production halting or a creator's passing. Stray Bullets had one issue left before it went on a long hiatus. Just a hint, the next video I do will also be hiatus themed. For readers picking up the original Stray Bullets issues, there was a massive break between issue 40 and 41. Issue 40 came out in 2005. Readers had to wait until 2014 to get the final issue of the Hijinks and Daring Do arc. That would be the end of the original series. Since then, Bullets has been published over Image Comics, where each new arc starts back at issue 1. It's funny because after the long hiatus, readers got a double dose of Bullets on March 12, 2014 with 41 and an issue kicking off a new arc called Killers. In 2015, Sunshine and Roses, a kind of prequel sequel, and the longest arc so far, was kicked off. Lapham's hiatus instances have been due to focusing on freelance work, different self-published projects, and other paying jobs to support his family rather than the passion project that is Bullets. A hiatus just gives more time to catch up on Bullets, so for new readers, I have the full series list in order here. This series, like I've said before, is non-linear, so this is a list of volumes, though I know people online have listed the issues in chronological order. This series begs for rereading. A single skim won't be enough. What Bullets does so well is have something for everyone, shockingly taking the phrase "can't please everyone" and turning it on its head without losing its identity, which is rare, especially when done well. Sometimes the series is pitched as this edgy, ultra-violent diatribe, and there are moments of edge and violence. However, there's this desperate need for belonging and connection that bleeds into the background of these stories too. Everyone is desperate for something: power, money, freedom, love, lust. For a comic that's pitched as a killapalooza, Stray Bullets ultimately picks apart the good and bad of human nature. There are so many memorable characters in this story that are full of life. The series doesn't allow for comfort. Characters will come and go in the blink of an eye in blood-stained fury. While it's violent, Bullets doesn't fetishize violence. Scenes of mundanity are suddenly broken up by chaos and bloodshed to suddenly end without fanfare. There's a young girl who takes too many violent wrong turns in life. A woman with an express ticket to self-sabotage while mourning her lost lover. A college student who sacrifices everything for a life of crime. And an army of innocents, idiots, hitmen, lusty suburbanites, and people on the run from the all-consuming underworld from Baltimore, sprawling all over the US. The beauty of this long-running series is that it's stuck to its black and white roots. There's something about noir storytelling draped in black ink that makes it more appealing than if it was printed in color. Even long-running comics like Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo have transitioned to full color. Love and Rockets, please don't change. Stay you. Also, quick side note, the phrase cool beans appears in every issue of this comic without fail. Stray Bullets doesn't spoon-feed readers, it's an addicting ride, but it's a comic where readers are expected to play by the story's rules, not the other way around. It makes for a compelling investigation, seeing characters' lives get corrupted by this criminal empire run by some faceless dude named Harry. The main antagonist, Harry, has not appeared once in this book since its debut. The characters escape from Baltimore and venture throughout the US in this crime epic. Each sliver of information keeps readers on their toes, desperate for the next piece of the puzzle. At its core, Stray Bullets is less of a story about bloodshed. It would be more appropriate to call it a love story. Love of love, money, power, revenge, freedom, chaos. It's raw, honest, and doesn't feel the need to explain itself to readers, which is refreshing, especially in a world of modern genre fiction. Lapham works hard to tug readers' heartstrings before reaching in and ripping out the heart while it beats. He takes time building up the mundane moments for the heart-stopping scenes to be more shocking. Reading Stray Bullets feels like reading comics for the first time again, picking up issues out of order, not knowing the full story, and filling in the gaps. Also, with the non-linear storytelling spanning across decades, Lapham kind of kills death. A character can die early on only to have a flashback arc for themselves later in the run, which is a more efficient way of bringing a character back to life. It's all a matter of filling in the gaps of the larger story with each issue. The non-linear storytelling mixed with the noir themes makes Stray Bullets an addictive page-turner. It mixes the flip of the page in comics with the human penchant for nosiness. How do the pieces fit together? The beauty of Stray Bullets, outside of the art, is how mundane things can be. A sprawling but intimate story where there are no superhuman beings or indestructible killing machines. It's violent, but it's not some edgy gore fest. Lapham takes time to develop his world and characters, and at times, Stray Bullets feels like a slow burn. That's to its benefit. When something terrible happens to a character, readers are already invested from the build-up. Sometimes with violent stories, people forget the human core of a story and just make it about the violence. While Stray Bullets is brimming with violence, it leaves space for people to be people. Everyone is human and fallible. The title itself has a lack of precision. Life isn't perfect. It's not always focused. Sometimes it is a case of spray and pray. Some of the characters like Virginia Applejack, Orson, and Beth are wanderers, runaways, strays. There are large swaths of this series that read just like some black and white coming-of-age comic, or even a romance comic. Lapham's style fits these topics ideally. There's an entire arc in this series about people just hooking up, only for them to get maimed, shredded, or publicly humiliated in subsequent issues. All that said, Lapham comes up with some really creative death scenes. One of them involves an eclair. Given the content of the story, Lapham's style is sleek and intimate. His line work is clean, fluid, and handmade, but doesn't feel sanitized in the way newer comics, especially the superhero ones, look. Despite the intimacy, Lapham leaves room for grime. The original Bullets run deals with the heist and escape from the unseen crime lord and main antagonist, Harry. Despite never being shown, everything throughout the series centers around Harry. The original issues deal with the build-up and fallout of all of the characters in relation to the Harry heist. Sunshine and Roses fills in the gaps of how the characters ended up where they did in the original run. There's a lot of creative myth-making in Bullets. How did things get to how they are? What pushed this person to change? What is everyone's breaking point? Can anyone escape living in the underworld? Some of the highlights of this series are the Amy Racecar stories. Light spoiler, Amy Racecar is the fictional alter ego of Virginia Applejack, one of the stars of Bullets. These stories can be jarring and break up the pace during a first read, but add some flavor and extra context during a reread. Given her traumatic and violent background, the Amy stories show kind of how Virginia processes the insanity she deals with throughout the series. She takes her love of writing and bends the craziness into something she can control and process through writing these short stories. It's a more productive form of power fantasy than putting on a leather bat suit and beating up criminals at night. That said, Virginia does beat up criminals sometimes. The Amy stories also allow Lapham to play with other genres and infuse some sci-fi elements in his grounded noir story. There's a story about a machine that reads minds, followed by the world blowing up. There's a 30s murder mystery with a salacious twist. Another Amy story is just full of Akira Kurosawa references. I'm sure these stories added variety for Lapham, giving the main story room to breathe. Amy Racecar isn't just a character from Virginia's short stories. When she goes on the run with other characters, she goes by Amy. The whole Amy Racecar idea in short stories and as a persona feels like Virginia's way of processing the craziness of bullets. While she's writing Amy, it feels like a form of processing but also hanging on to the innocence of childhood. It's the last defense between the Virginia readers meet and where she ends up. The series is much better experienced firsthand than just broken down beat by beat in a summary. Lapham has produced a story that's mature, accessible, and will hold the reader hostage until they finish the last issue. It knows how to hit all the right beats while balancing between gruesome violence and heartfelt human moments. It's not like Lapham is retired, despite the most recent Bullets arc finishing in 2020. He's still working on other projects. According to Lapham, there's a new arc planned, but there's no concrete release date. Apparently, it's going to focus on Virginia, who is kind of the heart of the whole story, seeing how far a person who has grown up with nothing but violence can go while clinging onto her humanity. There's so much I wanted to cover in this, but like I said, it's better to actually read the story than have each little moment broken down. There are little moments like the great character names, Spanish Scott, Monster, Des the Finger. There are panels that look ripped out of Frank Miller's 80s Daredevil, especially the way Miller did that busted lip mixed with the intense close-up panel. It's really distinctive. There are little details like the way characters are lettered. Most of them have Lapham's standard hand lettering. However, certain characters like the hired muscle named Monster has this rectangular, overly formal lettering that fits his overly serious way of speaking. If someone's drinking, the lettering becomes slurred and jumbled. So many nice, beautiful details that add to this world that was once just a blank piece of paper. There are so many sweet and harrowing moments in this series that linger in the mind. The characters in the series are so well rounded, but Lapham isn't precious with them. I used this list before, but here's the publishing order to read stray bullets in. This isn't a plug, but there is that Monster Overall edition that collects the whole original series. That format makes it easier to keep track of all the dates in one place. All of my videos and essay transcripts can be found on my website, whatsendpod.com. If it's not on there, it's not me. Like I said before, the next video will continue on this theme of hiatus. In the meantime, the other essays are available to watch and read. Keep an eye out for the next one. Chaos ensues.
No food, no water. What comics would you like on a desert island?
I would take the Acme Novelty Library. I would probably take Bone and Mean World.